When we first gathered in 2016 with this project, we started with a student panel and asked them to talk about their experiences, about why they chose something, what program they were in, how did they get that information, and it was quite revealing for us in the room in Denver, Colorado that day. And so we're going to kind of do the same kind of thing. So I'm going to start. We're excited. We have 6 students who are going to be able to share their experiences and to talk to you about what they received, didn't receive, what they'd like to see in the future, and what they're doing. So we're going to start here, and we're going to go right down, and we'll pass the microphone so you can hear them, and they'll introduce themselves, their institution, their major, and what they're interested in doing. Oh, you can take this one. Sorry. Wave 2.
Good afternoon. My name is Mavish Aslam, and I attend the University of Houston and am majoring in human nutrition and foods with a biology minor. And I will be a senior this upcoming fall semester, and I plan on attending medical school to become a physician assistant.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tremonti Brach. I'm a third-year pharmacy student at the Texas Southern University. I actually had the opportunity to study abroad a couple of weeks ago, so I'm interested in the international integration of health studies.
Good afternoon. My name is Monica Hernandez. I am a junior at the University of Houston, double majoring in accounting and finance with a finance track in risk management and insurance. And I would love to do something in either internal audit or risk management within oil and gas.
Good afternoon. My name is Victor Bono. I'm a graduate student at the Texas Southern University. I'm currently studying for a master's degree in management information systems. My interests are in business analysis, IT project management, and supply chain technology. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Maria Sandoval. I am from Houston Community College. I am retired engineer, and I have my master in administration and financial institutions. So when I came to the United States for 4.5 years ago, I decided to come back to college. So I decided to go to Houston Community College because I want to be teacher, elementary teacher. So while I'm a student at Houston Community College, I studied also for my Texas teacher certificate that I finished already. My major is in anthropology, and I finished last year a major in education. And that's all.
Good afternoon. My name is Taro Stafford. I'm a student at Texas Southern University, majoring in biology with a minor in forensic science. My career interest is actually in forensic science, more specifically forensic biology, working in toxicology and DNA analysis. I came into contact with forensic science because while I was serving in the military, I had a chance to work with NCIS and see how they kind of do their investigations, and it was immediately interesting to me. And I had a background in science already, so it was just something that was natural and I enjoyed.
Keep it down there, so we don't have to pass back and forth all the time. So I'm going to start with you with the question down the end. So how has your campus helped you in determining that major, that career path? You mentioned the military as one exposure, but what's happened on your campus to help get you to make that decision about your major and your career path?
Like I said before, I already knew what I wanted to study once I went to school. Once I got to college, once I got to the university, it was just reinforced knowing that there were the programs and the resources available for me to be able to actually study these things and be successful in them, and also be able to network and meet individuals within the field and put myself in the proper position to be successful.
My case is different because at my age, you need to know what you want. So
hold on, make sure that's one of the core beliefs. We don't know what age it is, but at that age, you need to know what you want to do. Great.
So as I decided to be a teacher, the advisors and counselors helped me to choose what classes I need to take in order to complete my goals. So I finished that with the help of those people. And many more. Some teachers also helped me.
Great. Victor?
Well, for me, my case is actually different because I switched. I gained admission to study for my MBA, my master's in business administration, but when I got to this country, I changed my mind totally. I don't know. I think I went through the curriculum and I was like, I don't think I want to do my MBA now. I'm not ready for my MBA. So what actually helped me was faculty and staff engagement. We have this very wonderful advisor in the business school. And then we sat down and he talked to me and he said, if you don't want to do your MBA now, what you want to do? What are you good at? I'm big on IT, information in particular, because information rules a lot of things now, especially when it comes to businesses. Like, you pull up data, you analyze it, and then you can tell. You analyze trends, and then you can tell. And I kind of have a background in that because my first degree is in economics, and we deal with a lot of data, historical data, and then you can forecast and extrapolate and do all that. So I said, I'm good with information. I'm a good problem solver. I'm a critical thinker. And I said, why don't you try MIS? At the time, I didn't really know there was anything like MIS. Where I'm from, we have things related to MIS, but there's no particular field. Like, there's no discipline called MIS where I'm from. So I was like, okay, MIS is good. I can try it. And for me, it's been really convenient for me. It's something I can do. It's something I can work with. So faculty and staff engagement really helped me to actually determine what I wanted to do then.
So I'm just going to ask you just one more follow-up on it. Was it the faculty and staff interaction not necessarily a specific office, that it was a staff office, the career services?
Yes,
advisor?
it was staff office.
Staff office in the career
Yes, sir.
service area. Okay, thank you. Monica?
So when I got to the University of Houston, I did not know what I wanted to do. I was admitted into the Exploratory Studies program, which is, in a way, it's the same thing as saying undeclared. Meeting with the business advisors that we have there in the Exploratory Studies office, they helped me realize that, well, the credits that I brought in and what I was interested in was business. And then through Core 1101, which is a program we offer to our incoming freshmen, they placed me into a section that was taught by one of our Rockwell Career Advisors, which is the Career Center specifically for Bauer students, which is the College of Business. And throughout information that she gave us and what she taught us, I was able to come to the conclusion that business is what I want to do. And also from interactions that we had outside of the classroom there in Bauer, I was able to figure out that accounting was something I wanted to do. And then after I finished the program, I came to the conclusion that I want to do both, so.
Great, Tremonti?
I actually came in as a freshman under pre-pharmacy, so it's a curriculum and isn't necessarily a degree plan because you can't really get a degree in pre-pharmacy. So for me, the advisors in the pharmacy school served as the pre-pharmacy advisors. So the curriculum was very strict, but I came in actually one math behind. So I ended up having to take statistics in 11 days over the winter semester break, and thank you, Jesus, I did it. But for me, my family played a really big part in that because there isn't really a pre-pharmacy department or a pre-pharmacy advisor. The pharmacy advisors kind of just step in and like, hey, we're going to help guide you to make sure you gain admission to the pharmacy school. And with them, working with different teachers and pharmacists I knew, and actually speaking to the pharmacy students that were currently enrolled in the program at the university, they were able to give us some tips and tricks on how to navigate the pre-pharmacy curriculum because pharmacy, the curriculum changes every year. I'm a third-year pharmacy student now, and like our curriculum is still changing at the moment. So definitely the pharmacy school advisors, but more importantly, the students that were in the pharmacy program because they had already been there. So they were able to give us tips and access to how you would gain admission to pharmacy, and even after pharmacy, how you actually get a well-paying career in pharmacy.
Thank you. Mahesh?
Before I came into the University of Houston, it was already decided for me by my parents that I would major in biology and I was becoming a doctor. So when I came into the University of Houston, I was admitted into our program, Exploratory Studies, and I took the course Core 1101 that Exploratory Studies offers. And when I spoke with my instructor that I was a student with, I told him, oh, wow, 4 years medical school and a 6-figure salary, I'm doing this. But later on, after he really sat down and spoke with me, no, it's not 4 years, it's 8 to 12 years, and you'll enjoy those 6 figures once you pay off your 6-figure loan. And I sat down with him and I was like, I don't always want to be in school. I don't always want to travel to different states. I want to stay in Houston. I want to stay in Texas. What can I do? So my instructor would sit down with me, talk about, hey, you could become a medical assistant. There's nursing. There's so many things. I know you love the healthcare field, and being a doctor isn't the only thing you can do. So through my instructor, I learned that a physician assistant is ultimately what I want to do.
All right, thank you. So some of you have you had the Core 101, I think was the course. What other Purpose First principles that you may have seen up here, if they were at your campus that you were exposed to? Did you have other interventions outside of that one instructor? Were there other things that you saw? So maybe, again, not everyone has to respond, but if there is something that there was some intervention or assistance from your institution, maybe you could talk about that.
Our exploratory studies advisors are incredible. There's constant emailing. There's always an open line of communication. Whenever I felt I needed help, I could walk into the office and easily speak with anyone, versus soon when I was declared into biology, I had to wait a week, make an appointment, email, and even then sometimes I wouldn't receive a response. Through exploratory studies, my advisors were always ready to talk to me, to help me, to guide me. That there's our CASA, which is our math tutoring, it's there. I can even walk you over there. I can show you what it is. And they opened up many resources that I wasn't even aware of coming in, and neither did my declared biology major really help me with. Our advisors, they helped me fill out the paperwork when I wanted to declare my major. They helped me fill out my paperwork, anything and everything I needed, make sure I met all the prereqs. And just having that open line of communication where I felt welcomed, I felt comfortable that they care and I'm not just a student to them, that I'm more than that and they want to see me be successful.
All right.
My university at the moment is implementing the 15 to finish. So we're advising, even as early as freshman orientation, advising, hey, register 15 hours so that you're able to graduate on that 4-year track. And also the peer mentors. Last year, we hired a team of freshman advisors that would come in and meet with the freshmen and talk to them. But sometimes, as a college student, we do not listen to faculty or staff. It's easier to listen to a student that's closer to your age, that's still in college, still navigating through life themselves. So this year we're implementing the peer mentors, which are grad students. I think some are still college students that are able to be more relatable to the students. So it makes them more apt to admitting to you, hey, I kind of don't understand math. I want to go to tutoring, but I don't want to be the only one to admit that I need tutoring or time management or financial planning. So the peer mentors, hopefully this year, are actually going to have a better gateway of communication with our first-year freshmen in order to maintain their college experience.
Great. Monica?
Adding to what Tremonti said about the peer mentors, me and Mavish are actually peer assistants for exploratory studies. So what we do is we go into orientations and we help them sign up for courses. And like she's saying, they're more open to listen to someone that's close in age to them and going through it right now than they are to faculty. During orientation, they meet with the faculty and they tell them the same things we tell them, but then when they get to us, the peer assistants, they're like, oh, well, I don't remember that, or, oh, I never heard that before, when they have, just because they don't retain that information. Because when they see adults, they're like, oh, well, they don't know what it's like to be a student. Or the last time they were in school was a long time ago. Honestly, this is how some of these new freshmen are coming in thinking. And so when they see people that, like us, that are close in age and understand what's going on, they're more open to listen to us and sign up for the 15 hours. In addition to peer assistance, U of H has also implemented UH&4, which is a fixed tuition program. And to be a part of that, you have to sign up for your 15 hours. And to continue in the program after each semester, you also have to meet with your academic advisors. So it's a motivation to continuously meet with your advisors. Earlier in the presentation, it was mentioned that some people don't meet with their advisors until their junior year. Well, programs like UH&4 make it so that coming in, they have to meet with their advisors.
Great. And Victor, I know you talked about this a little bit already, but anything else you'd like to add about how the involvement?
Just to add to what she said, because we're in the same institution, we're currently focusing on 15 to finish. 15 credits, and then you can finish up in 4 years. And an important part of that is the peer mentorship. For me, I'm a supplemental instructor with the department that handles peer mentorship and all of that. I'm a supplemental instructor for developmental studies, math precisely. And it helps because it gives students this foundation to, build on. Take 15 credits, you can finish in 4 years. And if you're not good with this particular thing, you have some time, branch out and see what it is you're good at and then make that decision in time. So, yeah.
Listening to Monica, I realized that my problem was the opposite. That you said that you need an advisor or counselor at your same age. Sometimes when I went to the advisor, I said, he doesn't know anything. I was worried, but thank you for your comments. Now I understand what is my problem. Thank you very much.
Listen, Maria, we put this together for you. We're here for you.
I'm actually one of the peer mentors at Texas Southern University. So as Tremonti said earlier, one thing that we do, and similar to what you guys do, we go to the new student orientation, and when we're in the joint session with the faculty and the staff, the students, they're kind of closed off. They really don't want to talk too much. They don't have many questions. Their parents mostly are the ones guiding the questions. So what we do is we take the parents and we let them talk about all the important stuff while we take the students and we go talk about the more important stuff, the stuff that they're actually going to be dealing with. So, the students, they want to know about, the stuff going on campus, but they're afraid to ask certain things. They're afraid to ask, hey, what if I don't go to class? What happens? Well, we all know what happens. You don't go to class, you don't pass the class. So, it's easier to do it when their parents are not around because the parents are going to like, well, tell me more about it, So it's just easier. Our freshmen, I guess similar to the UHM4 program, we have advisors specifically for freshmen. Every freshman will have a freshman advisor attached to a freshman seminar class. So their advisor is also one of their instructors, teaching them, the basis of, hey, welcome to college. These are things, study advices. These are programs you should go into. And our career services department, actually our director of career services, Ms. Boyce Fundino, is here. She does a great job with partnering with organizations around the campus, giving networking opportunities, introducing you to career fairs and stuff like that, where you can meet career professionals in jobs that you want to go into, which will help you in turn learn, hey, is this really what I want to do? So.
Okay, thanks. And maybe playing off of that, information about the jobs in your area, the labor market information, what type of skills you need, credentials, degrees, how much you might make in that job, not how much debt you might get, but you may want to find that out too. If you receive that information during your pre-enrollment, enrollment, during your years, when did you get it and what impact did it make for you to know that information in your decision making?
So there was a career fair in the spring semester of this year, and the CIA was there. And so I was able to speak to someone about forensics within the CIA. Normally a forensic scientist, bachelor's degree would make somewhere around $60,000 to $70,000 a year. Well, entry-level position with the CIA and the FBI, and most other federal organizations start off at $96,000 a year, entry-level with a bachelor's degree. That's something that is not really promoted much, but I like money just like a lot of people, well, most everybody in here. So $96,000 was definitely like a, eye-turner for me. So it was very good to be able to speak to these people in this environment, and just kind of understand, hey, yeah, you got a very, very hard job, but it's very much worth it when you're talking about financial gain and debt-to-income ratio and stuff like that.
And that information was just in this past year. You didn't get any of that information earlier in your career?
Not that specific thing, no.
Thank you.
I received many information about jobs, about salaries, but I think that the advisors, counselors, and teachers need to tell the student that the most important part in when you choose your career is that you need to love that career, because if you love your job, you will be successful. It's the only way, if you love that job.
Just to add to what she said, yes, you need to love a job, but at the same time, I think we need to we need to be factual. Some jobs will be relevant in a couple of years. Job relevance is important, so you need to look at the labor market. You need to look at the trend. IT, we didn't have some jobs 10 years ago, but with IT, we have some new jobs now. And in the next 10 to 20 years, some jobs will still be sustainable. We'll still have even newer jobs. I'm using IT as an example now because with the way IT is growing, with the way it's expanding, you will keep having jobs. And, like, take me for instance, MIS. After the advisor talked to me, I went and I did some research and I looked at it. I looked at the prospects for MIS professionals, and I'm using MIS as an example because that's my field. And with MIS, you have a range of opportunities. You can just be a database administrator. Database administrators earn as much as $120,000 a year. If you don't want to be a database administrator, you can be a cybersecurity analyst. You could be a business analyst. You could be a project management professional. So, having that knowledge, you should look into the labor market and say, hey, will this job be relevant in the next 5, 10 years? In as much as I love this career, will this career still be relevant in the coming years? So looking at that data, looking at labor market statistics will be relevant for students.
And was that provided to you by the school in an office, by the advisor?
Not necessarily. I did my own research.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So through Core 1101, like I mentioned earlier, one of the things that our advisors do in that course, I'm calling them advisors, but they're faculty members from across the campus. So I was placed in one where it was for business or those thinking of business, and our teacher or advisor, or however you would like to call them, worked in the Rockwell Career Center. So this was information that she saw on the daily basis. And she brought it into class and was like, look, this is all the different things that the business school offers you guys, and this is how they're gonna grow in the next 10 to 12 years. So that was something that she introduced to us our first semester, so my freshman semester. And then she went out of her way for a lot of the students and would have her own office hours with us and say, okay, well, what of the different things we showed you, what is something that you can see yourself doing? And then later on in the semester, she arranged meetings for us to actually speak to people that have been in those professions for 10, 20 plus years and have done it for countless of other years and have that experience of those, so that we could ask those questions we wanted to ask. How did you get to where you were? How have you seen the market grow? Have you been able to move in this specific job sector? Like in my case, what's the opportunity for minorities and for women, and ask all these things, because it's one thing to look at the data, because that data is cumulative. It's for male and female and for everybody of all minorities and what they can gather, but it's another thing to ask someone that's actually been working in these companies and see like, okay, well, as a woman of color, has a minority, how have you been able to move within a company? Do you see it as being something that the rest of us can do? Because it's one thing for a man, no offense to all of you men in here, all right? But it's one thing for a man to be able to do a specific job, and since we haven't been in the market, in the workforce for that long, we're seen as, we have a disadvantage, so we have to be able to look at that information as well, not just the job markets in general.
Thank you.
For me, that information wasn't really offered because most students go into the pharmacy track but don't cross over to pharmacy school in the 2 years, or they do the 4-year program. So coming in, that information wasn't offered to me. I honestly didn't really know how much pharmacists made. I just knew the pharmacists in my family were just well off and they vacationed a lot. So I didn't really know. Even being in pharmacy school now, most of my professors are pharmacists and lawyers, or pharmacists and pharmacologists, pharmacists and physicians. So they have like multiple certifications and multiple things that make them distinguished. But they just throw around, you know, when you're making that big pharmacy salary or in this big pharmacy salary, they just throw around that. But they also don't diversify in, okay, you don't just have to work at Walgreens. You don't just have to work at a hospital. So my freshman year, they had a nuclear pharmacist come in and speak, and she was a woman. And she was talking, and I was just stuck in awe when she said nuclear pharmacy, because I was like, I've never heard of this before. But the program now does a really good job at being realistic with us. It's us and it's University of Houston as far as pharmacy schools. So the job market in Houston is extremely saturated for pharmacy. So now that they're seeing, they're bringing in more professionals that are in other professions, so oncology or pediatric pharmacy or developmental pharmacy or research, the FDA, the DEA. They're bringing in more people now and warning us like, hey, by the time you graduate, regulations are going to be different. You aren't going to be able to find a job in Houston. Are you prepared to move to another state? Are you prepared to uproot your family? Are you prepared to start a family somewhere else? So it's not information that we're getting in the classroom per se, because our professors are already settled and they're already here. Most of them are professors as well, trying to supplement the cost of like sending kids to college and stuff. So they're bringing in more professionals to be realistic with us, especially being a minority female in the medical field. That's why studying abroad was such a big opportunity for me, because being able to see that, okay, I can go to another country and also provide jobs for and help and aid to other people as well. So that's one thing that really stands out, I think is important, bringing in professionals that are in that career to actually tell us about it instead of us having to get on Google or do research we see on paper. Like realistically, how far can I get in this profession?
Great, thank you. Mavish?
Prior to coming to the University of Houston, I didn't really know much about being a doctor. I just knew doctors make a lot. And it was something that I was interested. I liked the patient interaction. And when I came to the new student orientation, I got a little bit more information about, do you know what it takes to be a doctor, the courses and everything. But it wasn't until I was a student in Core 1101, which we keep mentioning Core 1101 because it's such a blessing. I learned the job growth and how the medical field is changing, how doctors need to be insured, how there's new regulations and new processes and new programs opening up with new requirements. And I recall we had an assignment to go on a website to see what kind of house do you want to live in? What kind of car do you want to drive? What kind of vacations do you want to take? And once we inputted all that data, we got a number that said, this is what you need to make to afford that lifestyle you want. And so seeing that was like, wow, I need to make this much to afford this nice car and these frequent vacations. And through that, we saw career paths that make that much. And then through those career paths, what it takes, the certifications, the schooling. And it was through Core 1101 that I learned more about it takes more than just saying, I want to be a doctor. There's research behind it. There's sitting down and really thinking, do you have what it takes? Can you do it? And my advisors and the instructors just really laid that out. The debt I would go through, how the debt keeps increasing, how a doctor, it's becoming a little more difficult in the future, how insurance is changing. So he really went in depth into what it takes.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty inspired already by all this. And again, not only you're taking advantage of different services, but also your own kind of where you're at now in that journey. So I'm going to go off script a little bit, because my guess is a bunch of these people out here are thinking about things. If anyone has a question that they'd like to ask the students, just raise your hand and let me know. I'll ask another question. But just think about something you want to know about them. Again, I'm not going to have the University of Houston people put their students on the spot, but others, if you do, oh, you already have one. Go ahead, stand up, yell.
Hi, Mike Slocum. I'm from Ivy Tech Community College in Indiana, and so I see two different groups of students, those who really use the exploratory course to be able to confirm or change, but then the students who are like, yeah, I got it. Like, I would have loved to know how much money I made a little sooner, but I got it. So as we're talking about initiatives that we would do with all of our students, particularly the students who had a really good idea when they came in, how would you feel going through an orientation process where we're asking you to do a bunch of things and you say, oh, but I've already got it? That question makes sense?
So if you put together an orientation program that's going to expose them to all of these core beliefs or principles and information, how'd you feel about that?
Correct, especially if you are confirmed, you are here to teach. How would you feel about going through a bunch of exercises when you already know you're here to teach, as an example?
Tremonti's going to start, and then we'll go down.
Okay. I literally thought I knew. Like, I came into pharmacy school, I was like, okay, I'm 17, I'm gonna do this 2-year pharmacy track. Everybody thought I was crazy. They was like, Tremonti, like, it's a little much. And I was like, no, I could take 21 hours in one semester. Like, I thought I knew everything. But even for the people that have it all mapped out, have the resources, have the support, pay for school, there's still always something you don't know or you don't expect. So like you may know, okay, yeah, I'm gonna make 6 figures and I'm gonna do this, but you don't know that you may have a child. You don't know that you may end up getting married. You may have a family member to get sick. So I think with a course like that, being able to throw those variables in there, like the unexpected things that do happen that you don't really count as, you don't supplement for, because straight out of high school, going to college, you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, but then school gets thrown at you and you fail your first exam, or you fail a course, or you have to find money to supplement different things. So I think for those students that do have it all planned out, mapping the course to where it accounts for all those incidentals that we don't, tend to consider because you don't know how that's going to feel until it happens to you. I think that's what would be beneficial. I wouldn't have known that I would have, had pharmacy school paid for up until this point. So now I'm a P3 trying to figure out, oh goodness, pharmacy school is expensive, but I ran out of aid, so that's something I didn't account for. So had I had a course that would have told me, okay, when you get extra money, put it aside because this may be something you have to pay for, something that may come up in college. Because the cost of college isn't always just tuitions and fees. You have to find somewhere to stay. You have to eat. If something breaks on your car, if you have to go out and pay for project supplies for a huge project. So throwing in those incidentals, I think, will be beneficial for those students.
Great.
Adding on to what she said, just allowing the students to know, they might come in and know that they know what they want to do and what their path is, like she said, but you still need to show them, hey, this is all the things that are available to you. These are all the ways we can help you in case something like this happens. Because like she said, life is unexpected. Half the things that happen in college, we don't see this coming in. You don't have to account, like she said, for where you live, where you eat. What are you gonna do when you run out of your campus cash, and mom and dad don't want to send you any more money because you used all of them, or when parking increases and it's like, well, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna pay this $700 parking, or how I'm gonna pay for this book, or hey, I need a specific computer for this class. I have a Mac, but you need an HP. It's like, well, what am I going to do to supplement all these things? So I think it's really important to still show the students and still have them sit through the big orientation, all the little presentations that are given to them, so that they know that this is all the things that we can offer you as a university.
All right, thank you. Victor, you want to supplement that?
Yeah, well, just to add to what they said, I don't think any information is wasted information. No matter how well mapped out your plan is, it's always good to go there and still find out, because things change. And then another issue is certain students who know where they're headed and have this one directional focus. Some of them sometimes get derailed by some of these things that might happen in life and in college, and then they tend to have a change of heart. So it's always good to show them that, hey, this is not the end. You can have options. You can still go this route. You can still do it this way. So it's not totally a waste. Even if you have everything mapped out, like you said, or like he said, it's still always good for them to attend those orientation programs and then see how it goes. And there's something, there must be something you don't know. There must be some statistic you haven't seen or heard about. There's always something new. That's the way information works. So no information is wasted information. Still have them attend it.
All right. Taro?
So for new student orientation, generally a lot of students come in and they don't really know what they want to major in, or they know they want to major in, but they don't know what they want to do with the major. They're just going to get a degree, and they know that. And from time to time, they may get a chance to ask that question to their advisor or to one of the peer mentors or anyone in that major, what kind of jobs do you think about doing? But one thing that I think would probably be beneficial, because I understand that new student orientation is overloaded with information already, and 17, 18-year-old students do not really want to be bombarded with it. They're not going to remember the majority of it. I mean, adults don't, right? But one thing